is 525, 600 cubic meters per day.
At the Aberdare ranges, human activity is steadily encroaching into the forest, reducing the size of the forest cover bit by bit. It may appear insignificant, but years of such activities has left the forest with less and less trees. The Thika Dam, visible from the sky, flows lazily with a speed of 2.7 cubic meters per second. On a good day, it flows at 9 cubic meters per second.
Hii ni jambo la mazingara. Hatuwezi sema imefanyika tu mwezi uliopita. Kwa kweli uko juu ya Aberdares kunahitajika mazingara ya tunzwe zaidi na sio tu Aberdare, ni Kenya mzima.
Poor water harvesting and storage activities have also left many in problems. The Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company blames old infrastructure, which was last renewed in the 1990s, just before donor funding was suspended due to poor governance. Much of the current flooding water goes to waste, yet at a two-day water summit held in Naivasha earlier this month, the Ministry of Water and Sanitation, through its Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui, said the government is set to launch a national water storage and harvesting authority in a bid to improve rainwater collection and stocking. That is yet to come into fruition. In the meantime, the water scarcity and rationing program will continue until it adequately rains in the Aberdare ranges.
All right, so that is indeed the paradox of the Ndakaini Dam. And like I mentioned earlier, that remains to be our focus here on the show, News Center. And of course, I welcome all your views. Remember that we're asking you on Twitter, what do you think ails the Ndakaini Dam? We now want to have a conversation with the CS for Water and Sanitation, Simon Chelugui. So there you go. The Twitter poll is on your screen. Talk to us. KTN News Center is the hashtag. Or you can also tweet me at Betty M. Kello. Let me hear your thoughts also as you also continue to understand what is happening from the CS of Water and Sanitation, the CS Simon Chelugui. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Well,
it's a cold morning, a rainy morning, and you know that is the reason why Kenyans just don't understand why there's going to still be water rationing. What indeed is happening at the Ndakaini Dam?
Ndakaini Dam is one of our biggest dams in Kenya. It was done about 25 years ago. And Ndakaini is not really the current source of water in Nairobi. We actually use Ndakaini as a reservoir. So the pattern of recharging Ndakaini Dam normally begins at the long rains in March and builds up to around end of June, July, when we have the long rains. And we expect this to grow, the recharge to grow. From recently, 3 weeks ago, we're experiencing our river flows moving from about 4.6 liters per second to now, yesterday, the statistics indicate that it has gone up to about 8 meters cubed per second. And therefore, looking and going by the pattern, we expect that by June, the dam will have been filled up to 60%. Once we reach that level, we should be good to go up to the beginning of the short rain. So once we reach 60%, we now use that dam to recharge River Chania to control the flow, regulate the flow. Because if we obstruct water from River Chania during low rain season, we are likely to dry the river, and the people downstream are likely to lose out on water. Okay,
interesting. Just to interrupt you on that, and of course, many Kenyans are asking, it has been raining for maybe about 2.5 months now, very heavily, flooding most parts of the country. How come this recharge of the Aberdares has not been happening? How come the last couple of days, that's when we're seeing what I've seen people allude to as a miraculous recharge of these aquifers at the Aberdares?
No, it's not miraculous. What is happening in, we are charging, Aberdares is on the top of the hill, towards the top of the hill. And therefore, that is the beginning of the rivers, and they start flowing. By the time we are getting to Thika and downstream, the rivers, the River Chania has grown through tributaries and feeder rivers, small rivers. So what's happening? It normally the rain starts on the eastern side of Murang'a, and then builds up slowly towards the end of April, and then now heavy rains are being experienced. By that time, the aquifers have been recharged. You know, the rivers water is flowing from springs, and you know we have experienced dry spell in the last about 6 months. We had a lot of dry spell, so we almost exhausted all the water in the aquifers, which is the cause of the rivers.
Right. So that's the reason why it's taking
taking time. Now they are soaked. Now it's soaked. That's why you are witnessing increased flow currently.
All right. So for us to get at least to a great percentage, like you said, 60%, are we likely to have that recharge up until 60% happen before, you know, the rains come to almost an end?
Yes, as we speak now, according to information I got last night, is we are now getting to the peak. Normally at the peak on the high, based on instruments on site that we have put, Water Resource Management Authority has positioned on site, we are now experiencing the highest, almost getting to the peak of the flows, to the using the 3 rivers.
Right.
So, and you also know that this is a very big dam. If today the dam was empty, and we started, and the river started flowing, it will take us 2 seasons. That is from long rains to short rains. Because it's big, 70 million liters of water. Yeah. It's quite a lot. Yes.
Interesting. All right, so we just want to take a look at some graphics to help us understand exactly, you know, just the status of the Ndakaini Dam, and then we come back to continue with the conversation. I also invite any questions that you might have to the CS. Simon Chilugu is the CS for Water and Sanitation. Let's hear your thoughts and the questions that you want us to put across to him. He's here with us on News Center. All right, so let's just take a look at the fact file. And as you can see, the Ndakaini Dam, constructed in 1988. It has a capacity of 70 million cubic meters, and now produces about 430,000 cubic meters daily. And then the catchment area there, can't see that, but of course the CS has been able to give us details of just what is happening around the Ndakaini Dam. Of course, there are many questions from Kenyans why the dam is still not, you know, up to a certain level with all the rains that we've been getting. But of course, from his explanation, it takes just more than that for that to happen. CS, just coming back to you, let's look also at the issue to do with deforestation. I remember in some platform, I read that you had mentioned that it has affected, you know, the catchment of water. Maybe you could just expound on that.
In the recent past, and even we came together with my colleague Keriako Topiko to issue a memorandum, which was to stop any logging and activities in our forest. Because for us to, we rely on these catchment areas for our rivers, for our water sources. We rely on these water towers.
Right.
So there has been a lot of encroachment in the recent past, a lot of human activities in the forest. And therefore, we as Ministry of Water and the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, we are working together to conserve and expand our forest cover so that we can increase our catchment area to increase the flow. Remember, if these covers are exhausted, we have the global warming here, we are going to have a crisis.
Right.
Yes.
What is the ministry doing so far to ensure that this, at least we have our forest cover is at least expanded, especially in the places that are considered or are water collecting points?
One is we're working on an arrangement with the ministry. Of course, the mandate of forest and natural resources, like those ones, are under the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources.
Yeah.
But as a beneficial ministry, we have to partner with them. And for a start, we are undertaking so many and very big dams. At the moment, for your information, we are planning to do 57 mega dams nationally.
Right.
And most of them are located in forests. So for every tree that is fallen to create space for the dam, then we also plan to provide a certain percentage of the project sum for forestation and the improvement of the catchment area.
All right.
and even increasing the size.
Okay, we'll be having that conversation here on the show. For now, we want to take a short commercial break, also to give me a chance to look at the feedback that is on our Twitter handle. Remember also, we want to hear your thoughts on our discussion this morning. All right, let's take that short commercial break. We'll be back in a few minutes.
This is KTN News.